like a pet peeve when you're in the bar? I mean, if you're managing, when you were managing, you were bar owner, any pet
Uh,
peeves?
yeah, I really don't like people throwing things on the ground. I think it takes you 10 seconds, or not even, it takes you 2 seconds to throw something in the bin. And I've been to many bars where where people will like taste the drink with a straw and throw it on the ground, or just, that. No, actually, I have a worse one. I hate bartenders who don't clean the speed rail in front of them or the bar in front of them when it gets busy, especially. That's a good test, because I
Yeah.
was always told that the in front of your bar, your station, your little thing, that is your face. If that has got mess on it, if there's crap all over that, that's how I judge you as a bartender. That
Mm.
means that below the bar where I can't see, it's even worse.
Yeah.
So always cleaning as you go in front of you, always keeping that clean. It's just one of those things that it angers the shit out of me. Like, you need to keep this. I understand if it's too far, you can't see around you, but you should be able to be aware of what's in front of you.
Okay. Yeah, fair enough. Sanitation is really important. Even here, we pay much attention, especially now. It's COVID. By the way, speaking of COVID, so how tell us in Barcelona how did the COVID situation like transpired in your part of the globe?
As far as I know, according to news, is that some guy got really sick, well, got COVID in Italy, flew over to Madrid. I'm gonna sneeze. Wait a minute. Oh, Jesus Christ.
Grazie, Gesundheit.
Thank you. I just got brownie points for cleaning bar. That's great. Come to my bar and see how clean my bar is, and my guys work. Yeah, yeah. Actually,
Yeah.
we were in the Donovan bar with Eddie last year, and Cocktail Maestro has all of these wonderful bottles, vintage bottles, and they're really old. But he goes, guys, you should check out the back of my bar. And we're like, okay, all right, yeah, okay, all right. So we go around, and it's like spotless, absolutely spotless. Everyone is working super clean. It looks like the bar was built yesterday.
Oh wow, really? Okay,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
nice.
That I don't think I've seen a cleaner bar in a long time. Absolutely, just pristine. I think in that moment, everybody was sweating a little bit because they realized that Maestro was going to come behind the bar. So everybody, when you kick something underneath the bar station, like a piece of ice or something, everyone's like, "God, Curly, come on!" It's like when your girlfriend is like, you're kicking your socks underneath the bar, the, the bed. I'm
Yep,
joking,
yep, yep.
but
Well,
in terms of COVID,
go ahead.
apparently some guy came over to Madrid. He had coronavirus. He went to a funeral with coronavirus, hugged everybody. Everybody got sick.
Oh
That's why
wow,
in like
shit.
24 hours or some shit, the cases of coronavirus went like this. And that's because this guy got everybody sick and everybody started getting sick. But of course, there's a lot of Italians living in Spain and a lot of travel between the two countries. So I think
Mm-hmm.
definitely it came from there. In terms of, the Mediterranean people, they're very huggy. They love socializing. And that's why it's spread. There's nothing else to say. Everyone is in the same situation globally. Everyone's on lockdown. I
Yeah.
hope everyone respects lockdown. Um, that's it.
Okay, so how do you see the COVID affecting the bar scene there in Barcelona? I
Honestly,
mean,
I think it's all the same everywhere, man. Bars are dependent on guests, and if the guests aren't coming, there's no business. And if the bars are closed and they still have to pay people and it's just basic business. There's not much you can
yeah,
discuss. That's it. That's
yeah,
Everyone is having the same problem, and everybody's just waiting for this thing to blow over. Different countries have different support packages.
yeah.
Everyone is different. They're
Mm-hmm.
lucky here in Spain because you have a special unemployment thing that's been going even before coronavirus. So a lot of people are getting at least some sort of money. But you know, nobody has stopped taxes. Nobody has stopped rent. So it's
Yeah.
not exactly easy. You know, it's fair to say that maybe more than 50% of smaller operators, independent bars, might not make it out alive unless
Yeah.
something is done, and
I
that's
just
just the fact.
yeah, go ahead. Yeah, I read Pego Club just closed officially, I think. I was reading
Oh
in
yeah.
Facebook. Yeah, well, because the rent and stuff, I mean, you know. But
Well,
yeah, it's a
New
full.
York and America is in a worse situation because
Yeah.
you know, their whole system of paying with tips, or tips are the main source of income,
Yeah.
is crazy, you know, and the margins are very, very small. New York rent
Yeah.
is ridiculous anyway.
Oh, ridiculous. Okay, so can you tell us something about your new project? Okay, so let's go to that now.
Yeah,
I
for
mean,
sure. Well, since I'm unemployed, as of the 1st of March, I'm a
mm-hmm.
homeless. Well, I'm not homeless.
Yeah.
I'm in the same situation as everyone. I've got no income
Yes,
coming in.
exactly. Yeah, I feel you. Yes, yes.
Um, Здравствуйте, Kira. Здравствуйте. But basically, so of course, you know, when you leave something like a big project like Cocktails for You need to, you need to stay. And you're in the industry, and obviously no one is getting an invitation to be a brand ambassador during coronavirus. No one is. There's no
Yeah.
consultancy. There's no guest
No, no.
shifts. So I'm living off savings.
Mm.
So I've started building a website. I got a really basic one up. It's called the Indie Bartender. It's on my Instagram link. It has my
Mm.
career in it. It has my projects. It has a small description of who I am. The Indie Bartender is basically like it's a website where I'm going to share, you know, some of the things I've produced, or some techniques I've learned, everything that I've done up to this point is going to be on this website. So you can find me, so you can find what I'm up to. I believe that, you know, I've been thinking a lot about this because one of the things that we did at Cocktails for You was teach about personal branding. It was part of our social media seminar. And so when I left, I was like, you know what, I should do what I teach other people on myself now that I am sort of
Yeah.
like a free agent. So I wrote
Mm.
down my own personal brand. I spent like 2, 3 days writing out everything I've learned. And I realized I've had a pretty big career. I've done many different things.
Yeah.
And so I'm putting everything as I have definitely produced myself, you know, on this website without stepping on any toes. You know, I can't exactly do social media seminars. I don't have a social media account with 400,000 followers, but you know,
Mm.
I can talk about personal branding because I've learned a whole bunch about that. You know, I'm not a big fan of people practicing I'm not a big fan of people talking about things they don't know, right? So if
Mm.
I'm
Yeah.
going to do anything, it's something I'm 100% know is true or correct, and I've got you know, examples to prove that it works. So when I personally branded myself, I realized that there is a new age coming, especially after coronavirus. It's something that we've been seeing a lot all over the world. It's an age of what I call is like a fourth new direction for bartenders. At the moment, bartenders have 3 directions. They can either become a bar manager and eventually say a bar owner. They can become F&B operations in a big chain or a big hotel. That's one direction, operations. There's a second direction, which is like brand and corporate. So distribution companies, brand ambassadors. There's that.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the third one, which is consultants, which is like the Wild West. There's
Yeah.
consultancy agencies. There's how do you know, I know like a bunch of people who work in consultancy, but the pricing, it's just there's no standard, there's no nothing. It's
It's our
just
standard.
it's madness. And so I believe that there is coming a time where there is potentially like a fourth new path, which I decided to call the Indie Bartender. And I believe that everything I've done has led to this. And the way I see
Okay.
it is that There's people in the industry who have bartending experience, who have social media experience, who have business experience. You know, like they're known in a region or within a certain area of the world. They have a name or something along those lines. They can organize guest shifts. They can organize seminars. They've been working with brands, and I guess, you know, I'm creating a job for myself. I am the social experiment for this new idea. Can I
The entrepreneur, the bartrepreneur, something like
bartrepreneur,
that.
yes, so something like that, right? So, for example, if I treat myself like a brand and I write a 12-month plan for me, you know, like where I'm gonna go, what I'm gonna do. You know, for example, I know that I've been speaking to Moscow Bar Show. If I maybe get a chance to go, if that's still happening, if there's money in it, you know, I've been wanting to go to Russia a lot. I only just got my passport. You know, I might travel there. I also, you know, BCB, biggest bar show in Europe, you have to be there. Very often you get invited last minute, but whatever, right? So if I write out a plan for 12 months of where I want to go, where I want to be, social experiment, Dan, you need a haircut. Yes, I do.
Yeah. Yes, all of us do.
I think all of us do, yeah. You shave my chest. So if I write out a plan for 12 months of where I want to be, what I want to do, if I start speaking to bars and I have a full brand plan, if I treat myself like a brand, like a personal brand, and I write all that out, and then I budget it, I finance it, I find a way to work all that out, the brand is in place, e Natale. Everyone is here, Jesus Christ.
Yeah,
Christ.
yeah. All the
So, so
Danil
if I,
friends are here.
so if I put this together, if I put this plan together and it's all ready and set to go, and I already organize, you know, talk to all these people and have my work ready for me, then in theory, I could just essentially go to like a brand that, or people I know in brands and go, hey, listen, here's the plan for the next 12 months. Do you want to be a part of this project? I've already done all of the hard work. I've organized it. I've talked to them, you know, blah, 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 blah. I've budgeted it. I'm putting in my own money, whatever, if you have to, hopefully not, into this plan. And here's what I'm going to do. You can be my partner. You can be a part of this. Do you want to fund it? Here's how much it costs, you know, whatever. I think there's potential for this. And that also means that you make your own job and you make your own work. And then you can also, one of the reasons I left Cocktails for You is because I was traveling with Eddie like 270 days a year. And
Wow.
that was so difficult. And I think by the end of last year, I was like, I'm a person who's not a really big thing about mental health or whatever. I keep myself to myself. But it got to me, you know. I was physically not fit. I was mentally breaking down. I was done. I was burning out, and it's hard, you know. And so if I know for 12 months in advance where I'm going to go, what I'm going to do, I have more stability. I know, you know, exactly what if I'm the one organizing it, you know, I'm set, and I don't need much to get you know, to get along. I don't need as much of an income. So if I organize that, I promote myself well, I get it all together, then it's a potential business model, you know. So I'm thinking of this is at the moment the direction I want to go. Of course, it's still
Okay.
It's still early, you know. There's still a lot of time, still a lot of planning. You don't know when
Mm-hmm.
coronavirus is gonna, and maybe
And
after all of this is finished, no one wants to invite me anyway because I'm an unemployed ex-blogger influencer, whatever you want to call it. You know, maybe I'll turn into like clickbait, like tipsy bartender, mojito war.
yeah, or shave your
Like,
hair and then you know.
invite this overweight fat dude from Russia to do a mojito battle with you. Why? I have no idea.
And then Okay, by the way, if we get cut, I will restart it again just to
Okay.
wrap up everything. Um, but yeah, well, talking about mojito, so is mojito one of the first cocktails you made in your
Uh, Actually,
career?
the first cocktail I learned to make was a mojito. The second cocktail I learned to make was a called a Key West cooler, and then I
Mm.
learned to make strawberry daiquiris, the original.
Okay, okay. All right. Maybe since you're with cocktails for you, or you've been to cocktails for you, what do you is like a perfect cocktail, or how do you, if you would be judging a cocktail competition, what will you be looking for?
See, this is a very difficult question to ask because every competition has its own requirements and something along those lines.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's not something you can answer just like this. I think
Mm-hmm.
also there's some things that are often overlooked right now. Basic technique. I see a lot of people are going for flashy moves, flaring, for
Mm-hmm.
working
Mm-hmm.
flair, but then they're spilling ingredients on the bar. Like it's 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 a lot of things. You have to respect the brand, but you have to be original. You have to work clean, but you also want to work nice. You want to
Okay.
make a delicious drink and not just focus on the presentation.
Mm-hmm.
The people that win are a combination of all of those things, right? You have to have balance, not just in the drink, but in everything. And I think that's something people forget. They put too much emphasis on one thing. And also, I believe that in the end, if the drink doesn't taste good, you're not gonna win. If I don't understand why people get put weird stuff in their cocktails and the drink just doesn't taste good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
One of the best pieces of advice I ever got was from a man called Jared Brown, a historian and the co-founder of Sipsmith Gin.
Yeah.
He said, if you think you've made a good drink for a cocktail competition, wake up in the morning, make two of your drink two of your drink. In the afternoon, 4 or 5 p.m., make two of your drink two of your drink. In the evening, before you go to sleep, make two of your drink both of them. And the following morning, if you can wake up and you can make two more of your drink and drink two more of your drink, and you want to have that drink, then
Then.
it's a good drink. Because if by then you're sick of it, or if you're sick of it before that happens, then that drink is not good enough. That drink it's something you don't want to have a lot of that drink. Of course, you can argue that there's drinks for different occasions. You can't have eight flips. I don't think anyone wants to have 8 flips. And of course,
Mm-hmm.
Jared Brown can handle his alcohol a lot more than most of us. So having
He's a rock star too. I know, Jared.
having so many of a drink is also tough. But
Yeah, yeah.
I like the mindset. I like the idea that you need to be able to have a lot of this, and still feel refreshing. I also like to quote another bartender I know called Hayden Lambert from Above Board in Melbourne.
Ah,
There's
okay.
a thing he calls instant gratification. So if you've ever served somebody a mojito and you've made or a daiquiri or an agro, like a good classic drink that everyone likes, right? They drink it and on their face you can see they're happy. They're like, oh, that's great. Oh my God, that's delicious. As a bartender with experience, you learn to read people over time. Somebody walks in the door, you've never met them before, you look at them, the way they're dressed, the way they walk, you can feel that guy's a dick. He's going to be a difficult person or something like this. Or you might see someone and go, they're great. You just develop this sixth sense. And it's the same thing when you serve somebody a drink and they go, wow, oh my God, that's great. They might not even say anything, but you can read it on their face if they think it's a good drink. If you serve someone the drink and they sip on it and they say, interesting. I see what you did there. That means they think it's crap. Interesting is the
Okay,
worst
very
response.
sarcastic.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, yeah. No, they don't like it. They're gonna lie. They're gonna lie to you. You can always tell if it went down well, and that's what you're looking for. You're looking for a drink people could drink a lot, and for visual, emotional, instant response, gratification. That's good, and that's when you made a good drink. That's when you made a classic, a modern classic, or whatever, a Bacardi Legacy winner. That instant happiness.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we have one question before we get cut and reset. What generic brands of spirit you have on your speed rail? Please give us tips on how. Okay, well, I'll leave that up to you how you make mojito. But the first question is actually good. Do you have like generic brands of spirit? I think this is general. Yeah, it's quite general, but
No, that's
by
okay.
Skill Media TV.
Okay, I
What
have.
can you say?
If we're talking about speed rail, you want something that's affordable, but then has a certain level of quality.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go with widely available brands. I think Tanqueray is a brilliant gin, and if you can,
Mm-hmm.
it is a little bit more expensive than most, but if you can put that on your speed rail, it's a great gin to have on your speed rail. Beefeater comes close second. Though I would say those are great gins. My personal favorite gin, and nobody's ever heard of. Anyway, for rum, Havana 3-year-old would followed very, very closely by Bacardi Superior. Followed, but I'm talking about it has to make sense financially. Followed by there's a rum made at Foursquare that's a white rum that's really, really good. Probitas, it's got different names depending on the country. Probitas, that's fantastic. But not as more available. A lot of people bash the war between Havana and Bacardi and blah 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 blah.
Yeah,
The brands don't care, but the bartenders like to have a little fight. I used to do a trick with my bartenders. We used to do a blind tasting of Havana 3, Bacardi, Plantation 3, and a bunch of other white rums. And if you blind taste in like a little snifter all of these rums, and you tell the bartenders to write their favorites from 1 to 5, you will be so surprised how many people pick Bacardi in their top 2, top 3. A lot of people they buy into marketing more than they buy into the flavor. And when you take away marketing, you'll be surprised how many people get it. So Tanqueray Beefeater for top 2 for gin, Bacardi Havana for top 2 for rum. Vodkas you can't afford to get in your speed rail. I really like the Belvedere. That's great. Polish vodkas are just awesome if you can. Polish vodkas is great. Tequila, Altos is great. El
Altos.
Jimador. There's not a lot of bad tequila. Altos is good. El Jimador is good. I love those. They're good. Other stuff can get very expensive. Yeah, I think we can go on forever about this.
Okay.
In the end.
All right. What's your?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Are you gonna finish the other question? Please give us
tips on how to make mojito. Don't use brown sugar. Don't use sugar syrup. Use fresh mint, for God's sake. In Cuba, they make mojitos as a highball.
Yeah, here sometimes we do. I mean, common mistake is for those who don't know, they would substitute basil for mojito. I mean, not all, but you'll be surprised sometimes, really.
Yeah, and also a lot of people argue about slapping the mint and not muddling it. Actually, you shouldn't muddle something until it's a soup anyway. But you'll be surprised. Unique cocktail. So powder sour mix. Just put mint into your mouth. Put mint into your mouth. Chew on it. Pour in some rum and swallow. Mojito. This will have to be a whole If we could spend an hour talking about the mojito.
Yeah. No worries. Okay. We'll get into that, and especially if Cocktail Maestro gets his challenge done in Italy, then we can cover. we might cover that. Okay. I think we'll be cut in a few more minutes. I think we can leave. Well, our audience, if you want to ask questions to Danil, please. This is the time. We might do 5 questions, then we wrap it up.
Sure.
Okay, since nobody has asked yet, I want to ask something. How do you, what's your take on, like, when you're in the bar, is it really practical to do these cocktails with too much
Jesus Christ.
garnishing, and like, it will take maybe 5 minutes to make just one cocktail because of all the fancy stuff that you do? What's your take on that? Hello? And we're back. Sorry, I let's just wait for everybody to come back. Okay, welcome back, guys. Sorry, we had an hour already, so we're just wrapping up. So this is the time to ask questions. Shout out, Jansel, Josh, okay, he's back. Cocktail Man is back. Let's do it. Friends with benefits, Marlu, Lyndon, Cecilia. Okay, there you go. So yeah, um, yeah. I mean, because yeah, what's up, man? So yeah, because sometimes it there's always a thing with being up to date. You know what I mean? Okay, I see this for cocktails for you, so I look up to these guys. I'm gonna make my cocktail as fancy as possible with all the drama and etc. I mean, nothing wrong with that. But what's your take on it? I mean, like is it,
Okay. Okay. So this is a
especially in a,
battle. This is a battle of minimalism versus maximalism.
mm-hmm,
Okay. So a lot of people in our industry, here, I'll give you a visual example. Imagine this is like a pendulum on a watch, right? It's swinging back and forth. And imagine that there's like, here is minimalism and here is maximalism. And oh, look, we all love nightjar. We all love this very, very, lots of like a salad on top of our cocktail.
okay,
Minimalism, where it's like a crystal clear drink, clarified over some beautiful ice, very, very simple, blah, blah, blah. So I've been to bars where, I'll give you an example. There was a bar called White Lion in London,
mm-hmm,
where all of the drinks were in a fridge behind you, and they were just poured into a glass. There was not even any ice. And I have tasted some of the worst drinks in my life in that bar. And I've had some of the slowest service in my life in that bar. If all you have to do is pour drinks out of a bottle, in a fridge, into a glass, you should be quick as hell, in theory. And your drinks should be all
yeah,
pre-made. You've taken all the technique out of it, so they should be delicious.
yeah,
But, so it's not about how your drink is garnished, just because everyone's
yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
response is good.
Mm-hmm.
And people like to put that online.
Mm-hmm.
Now that is a fact
Mm-hmm.
you can't deny.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Mm-hmm.
it's not really about, but that takes time. It takes time to
Yeah.
garnish a drink nice. It takes time to,
Yes. Yes. Yes.
so if you're taking 5 minutes to make one cocktail, then that's, I worked in a bar where we had nice garnishes, but we had a very well set up bar. Every single day, if this was taken too slow, why? Can we change
Yes.
the garnish? Can we do something about it? How do we, is our bar setup bad? Are our bartenders too slow? Is this garnish just doesn't work for speed, for the size of the venue?
Mm, mm, mm.
You should be timing how long a drink.
It's made. Yeah.
how long since it goes into the system.
Yeah.
How long does it take all the way through? And so you can make a bar that has elaborate garnishes if you have the people and if you have the setup. But in the end, that's not the reason people will come back, although it does help a lot. My take on it is make a good drink. Start with that. And then if you have the creativity, if you have the setup, if you have the you're just going to achieve different results, and you're going to attract different people. Of course, elaborate garnishes.
Okay,
more
wait.
More prepped.
Hold on.
Stuff.
You're breaking up. Okay, hold on. Hello,
okay,
hello.
I'm here. Yeah, I'm here. I can hear you.
All right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I agree 100%. In fact, it's very eye-opening because you're correct. There's really different opinions about that. In fact, I love. Who doesn't love garnish, a great looking drink, and of course it tastes good at this. Well, I'm pretty impressed actually. Shout out to the Queenery, right? Queenery, they have a great team, and you see when they make this. I don't know if you've been there, the Queenery. So when they make this martini with the froth,
the caviar martini with the
the caviar,
the
yeah. Oh my goodness, they're like a machine, the assembly line. I mean, from left to right, and then they dispense the drink. Oh my, that's magnificent. It's like an art.
The one thing I will say about minimalism in general, I am very maximalism, so I'm completely the opposite way. I appreciate minimalism because I'm a professional and not a sheep. But if your drinks are minimalistic, then my God, your service better be amazing because you have more time for me. Like if you are saving all this time from garnishes, everything else you're doing better be better. Also, unfortunately, an argument against minimalistic, and I have 7 to 8, 9, 10 different drinks who all look the same. Same glass, same nice piece of ice, same color. There's nothing different about any of them. They look like a glass of water with some cordial in it. You know, I don't mind because I go for flavor, but I also understand people who'll be like, this looks exactly the same as. There's nothing that's sexy about it. It's like, you know, why do we want to plate our food nice? Why do we not like a nice plate? Why don't we eat off paper that's biodegradable? You know, like because we eat with our eyes as much as we eat with our mouths. Otherwise, you can just open a can that's minimalistic, but it'll be delicious. Yes. But you're eating out of a can. So there's arguments for both sides. There's always arguments for both sides. You know, I also think that sometimes the reason people went to minimalism is because maximalism is hard.
Totally.
You can never be too much one. You can never be radical. Those bars never last. You need a good balance.
All right. Okay. Well, point. Thank you for the answer. Okay, you have a question here from Cyrene. So I think she just joined us, but she wants some tips. What can you say about bartenders who want to keep traveling or working abroad? Can you give your advice to her?
That's very simple. It all depends on what you